Okay, so we'll start with the mobilization exercises first. The first one we'll look at is trying to tack and floss on the tricep. What we're trying to do here is let the fascia of that tricep slide a little bit better over the muscle. A little less restriction allows you to get that elbow a little bit higher while you're in the rack position. You can work, any part of the tricep. Just try and find the part where there's the most restriction. And then before you go and do the other side, go ahead and compare how high you can get the elbows. If you see here, the right elbow is significantly higher than the left. So we've already seen some improvement on that. So that's the triceps. This next one we're going to look at really kind of hits triceps, thoracic spine, as well as the serratus anterior, which is a big protractor of the shoulder. So we'll take this PVC pipe, put it about shoulder width, and then I'm going to rock myself back and sink my head through and then bring the PVC pipe to me. What you're not really seeing here is that the shoulder blades are trying to pull away from the floor. So they're trying to go into deeper and deeper retraction. Retraction, of course, is the opposite of protraction. And the serratus anterior is a big, major protractor of the shoulder. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to force so that we can get a bit of a deeper stretch into the serratus. Okay, you can hold that for as long as you would like till you start feeling a little bit of a release. You can go back and forth on it, however you'd like to play it. Still looking at the mobility work, we're going to tack and floss the fascia of the serratus anterior. So put the foam roller on your side, angle it more on to the front of your torso, and you're going to roll all the way from basically right below your chest all the way up into the armpit. You're trying to reach that arm back further as you go back and forth. You can also even roll on that little muscle like a log. So you'll see me here in a second. I'm going to start dumping my shoulder forward. My left shoulder will go forward and backwards. There we go. Not pleasant, but always remember that whenever you're doing these mobility pieces, always try and stay as relaxed as possible. So now we're going to start moving into the integration pieces. So now that we've mobilized the tissue, now we're going to try and get the patterns right with some simpler movements. We'll see here, we're going to do some scapular push-ups here on the knees to start. And all we're doing is we're pushing away from the floor, sinking back down, kind of like an angry cat. What we're trying to do here is not only are we trying to push through the floor, you'll probably see a little bit more when I go onto my feet. As I sink and I push through the floor, I'm drawing my shoulders down. I don't want to have any elevation of my shoulder. So no hiking of the shoulders as we're going through this. We're pulling them down because we want that scapula to rotate down along the rib cage. So really, really reach through the floor, point that upper back up to the sky as you're doing this one. Got this one from Dane Miller over at Garage Strength. This is a dumbbell miracle grow. This is great for not only strengthening the triceps, but for our purposes here, we're really going to get a deep stretch through the pecs and then also be able to really squeeze that serratus at the end of that rep. So I reach back, I get a stretch in the triceps and the serratus, and then I finish it off with some protraction at the top. So you'll see as I pull through, I'm going to straighten and then reach through this to the ceiling with each rep. And again, we're trying to get that scapula to move well so that when we go and pick up that barbell, we're going to have a nice rack position. This last one that we're going to look at, a movement integration, is just putting the whole shoulder through some time under tension. And we'll see here that we're just doing some simple kettlebell racked carries. Really important that we keep the elbow up. And as we keep the elbow up, we're going to also, you'll see in a second, keep the elbow up, push that shoulder forward, protract that shoulder. Don't let it kind of sink and be sucked back. Okay? I'm just going to do a couple of those. Again, we're just looking at trying to build that time under tension here in that shoulder. And then last but not least, we're going to put it all together. Okay, so you can practice that rack position. There I can see like a nice protracted shoulder increases the size of the rack that the bar gets to sit on. I got my elbows nearly pointing right across the floor. My humerus is basically parallel to the floor when I was doing those front squats. The added benefit of really getting the serratus fired up and mobilized, as well as the triceps, is you get a nice lockout position with some good overhead movements like we see here with the push press. When you want to start adding some more dynamic effort with the split jerk, same idea. Good lockout position, good rack position, and that bar is going to be able to be pushed straight up and down a lot better than if you're just resting it all in your wrists. So, couple simple movements you can do to help improve your rack position.